Hello, and welcome to the Real San Diego podcast, where I interview inspiring and interesting people, dive into hot topics and communities around San Diego, and more. I'm your host, Cece Summerfield, and joining me once again this week is Corey Bruins, president of the OB Town Council, to talk with us about the OB Christmas tree, the history of it, and what's happening this year. Hey, Corey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. So glad to have you back up on my podcast.
Yes.
More about the Ocean Beach Town Council, and this time it's holiday related. We're going to be talking about the OB Christmas tree that's been, so that's really my first question. How long has the OB Christmas tree been a thing here in OB?
So the first OB Christmas tree came down from Mount Shasta, actually, in 1980. The James brothers, formerly the owner of James Gang, who many folks in OB know, it was kind of their idea originally to bring a Christmas tree down. And so from what I've heard, the original Christmas tree was this like beautiful, giant Mount Shasta tree that they brought down on a huge thing. And SDG&E came out and helped with the crane to get it in the ground. And it's morphed over the years, obviously. But that was the first one. And kind of the first holiday parade, from what I understand, is the folks kind of following behind the first Christmas tree as it went down Newport essentially created the first holiday parade. So the tree and the parade sort of go hand in hand. And yeah, it's been around for a little over 40 years.
I just can't believe they hauled it all the way down from Mount Shasta. That is a long trip.
I know. And I think the original thought was they went looking for like a tree company that supplies, cities and Disneyland and places that buy big giant trees. From what I can tell. And then they were working with a farmer, I think, on Mount Palomar the next couple of years, since the journey from Shasta is quite a long one, as you alluded to.
I imagine to drive from there.
I know. And I don't know when it switched over to kind of becoming more of a local thing in terms of the tree, as long as I've been around, so at least 7 years. And I think much longer before that, we started sourcing trees from the neighborhood, which I think is great because it obviously shortens the distance that it has to go. And then the goal is to pull down a tree that is already kind of posing a threat or is going to be planned to come down anyways, so that we're not chopping down healthy trees in OB. We know that's not a helpful thing. So we, every year we ask the community for submissions of trees that maybe are already falling, or their root structure is tearing up the sidewalk, or they're not healthy, not going to survive, things like that. And then we pull one of those trees down, plop it on a truck, and cruise it down the hill from wherever it's coming from. And the past couple of trees have all been from within 92107, which is really cool.
That is really cool, and it really provides, what I've noticed, and I'm sure a lot of people who live here have noticed, is it gives you that opportunity for character in the tree. I mean, there's obviously, we actually, as the OBMA member, we created an ornament this year that's the crooked tree. I mean, because it always seems to have like a lean one way or the other. And there's been some great photographs that have been taken over the years from these funny trees, that have been put down there. So I kind of, I mean, as much as you love like a big, full, beautiful Christmas tree, it just really gives it character. And that's really kind of significant for OB. I mean, it's an eclectic, community. So I think it matches the community theme.
Totally. Yeah. And the crookedness of the trees over the past couple of years, I think, started when they stopped adding guidelines to the side of it, because when the tree loses its root structure, it doesn't have anything to keep it propped up. And again, this is one of those things where, as the town council, we're all volunteers and we don't have an office or a staff, anything like that. And so really most of our work is passed down through oral tradition, or what people write down in terms of like, this is the process. And so from what I understand, I think at some point, whoever was on the tree committee one year just didn't get the memo to put up the guidelines, that kind of like anchor the tree on either side. And so then the tree started leaning and it just became a thing.
I would have never guessed.
I hear differing opinions, and it's really interesting to sit around town and hear people talking about the tree. And I've heard
Sure.
so many different conversations where people are like, does this town have any respect for themselves? Why did they let their tree lean like that? And I think that's mostly out of towners because I think people in
Sure.
OB, like you said, mostly are just really proud of our quirky tree.
Yeah, yeah, it's something different. And I mean, you can go see beautiful trees all over the place in different areas of San Diego, I mean,
Totally.
anywhere but here. And so you get to see, gee, what is this tree going to look like this year? Because it's just always different. So I like
Exactly.
it. I like
Exactly.
the
I do
difference,
too. I do too.
uniqueness.
Yeah, I think it matches our quirky community for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So when does the tree go up this year?
Tree
Or
goes
when does it go
up.
on
Let's
this year, I guess is the question.
pretty soon. In fact, 1 week from the time that we're recording this conversation. So November 29th is when the tree goes up, Tuesday, November 29th. And then it stays up all the way till I think like the first Tuesday after New Year's. Um,
Great.
yeah. So we're really excited, and we'll have Santa there for a couple of hours. Most Saturdays in December, folks want to come down and hang out with Santa, and then the kids from OBE decorate all sorts of ornaments that go up on the tree, which is really fun.
Yeah.
And there are ornaments that you can buy at the Ocean Beach Business Center and
Oh,
bring home to
really?
decorate to put up on the tree. Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
try and get the community involved in the process here.
That's something new. Did you guys do that last year too? I mean, because I knew that OB participated in doing some ornaments and stuff, but is this something new that you've been doing, and how long have you been doing it for the?
Yeah, we started in 2020, actually,
Okay.
December 2020, when, we had a lot of time to rethink lots of things because not everything was going down in the normal way.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, we get these big, they're kind of like 6, 7 inch round, or there's like ones in the shape of a circle or tree, different
Mm-hmm.
shapes. And then, yeah, community members can decorate them, and they're available at the business center to buy. So all the way up until the tree goes up on Tuesday.
Yeah,
Yeah, folks can go grab one of
that's
those
when everything
ornaments and
goes on the
decorate.
tree too, doing all the
Yep,
lights and doing all the decorations, making it all happen.
exactly.
What was I gonna? So with the tree, I mean, I know it takes a lot of manpower to get this tree up every year. Is it strictly like volunteer, or is there some kind of sponsorship that happens to help make this happen, or how does it work
Yeah,
out?
great question. So, I mean, in general, as the town council, like I said, we're an all volunteer organization. There's two things that we're most limited by, and I think the number one is our human capacity, and then number two is our financial capacity, of course. And so, all of the fundraising that we do as an organization comes from our board going out into the community and seeking support. So we have sponsors for the tree every year that are displayed on the banner right next to the tree. That goes to help offset the cost of it. It costs thousands of dollars every year to put the tree in the ground. There's a ton of vendors that are involved in it. So we have an arborist that comes out, the crane company, the trucking company. We've got a motorcade from PD that comes out and helps us move it safely from the house down to the beach.
Hmm.
So it's a whole rentals for the crane. It's a whole operation, and so we're always looking for both financial support and volunteer support to get all of these projects done, including the tree.
Yeah, I was guessing somewhere in the thousands to get it up there because I mean, it's a huge tree. It's nothing small. It's not like a little
Yeah.
Christmas tree planted on the beach. It's like I wonder sometimes how the heck it doesn't get blown over by the wind some years when it's freaking windy out. So yeah, I
Yes.
can imagine we have to think about safety and all the different things that come along with putting a huge tree in the ground down in OB in the
Yep.
sand of all things. So, do you need any more sponsors this year? Have you got that all covered for the
Oh yeah,
sponsors that are?
please. If anybody's interested in sponsoring either the tree or the parade or any of our upcoming holiday events, just shoot me an email, Corey, Corey, at obtowncouncil.org. We've got sponsorships running from like a couple $100s for a banner on the parade route up to a couple $1,000s, and we can do custom things, whatever makes sense for whoever is bringing it to us. We really want to make it
Sure.
as much as possible a community event, and we need the full support of the community to make it happen. So always looking
Always.
for sponsors to make the
Yeah.
magic happen. Yeah.
Always looking for that. And since we're headed into the parade and talking about that, might as well get something out there. I heard that you guys are possibly going to do another like VIP section for the parade that you could buy into or something. Is that still going on or? what's
Yep,
happening
we're
there.
sealing up the final details for it. The best place to watch is probably the parade Facebook page. We'll keep that
Mm.
updated, or the town council website. We'll keep that updated as well. And if folks listening to this don't receive our emails, that's also a great way to stay updated.
Sure.
And you can sign up on the About page on our website, so obtowncouncil.org/about. And all the details about anything VIP deck, all the details about where to go for the parade will come out through those emails and our social media channels.
Perfect. And I know the holiday season is a huge time for you guys to do other community events and fundraising for the community. And I know one of them coming up is Toys for Tots. Is that correct?
Yeah, the food and toy drive.
Food and
Yeah,
toys.
so the
Sorry.
food and no, you're all good. The food and toy drive this year, the kind of big volunteer push will be the week of December 12th all the way through the 16th. And then on the 17th is when we do the big delivery. It's a really cool event that's been going on for a really long time. Actually, the kind of backstory on it is sort of fun. After the first couple of years, the James Gang sponsored the tree that went into the ground, kind of through their business, and eventually realized, man, this is getting expensive, but the community still wanted it. So they put together an auction to raise money for the tree. That's the auction that has been going on for 40 plus years. It was held at Sunshine Company for many, many years. This year it'll be held at the holding company. And the food and toy drive came because I don't know how many years in, 5 or 6 years in, the auction was so successful that they were raising more money than they needed to fund the tree. And so the question became, what do we do with these extra funds that we've raised? And that's how the food and toy drive started. So they turned the couple extra $100 or extra $1,000 that they raised at the auction and turned that money around and gave it back to the community in the form of food and toys, which is really cool. Just all of the interconnectedness of these different holiday events. So these days, the food and toy drive is a large operation. We serve over 100 families and seniors and kids in 92107.
That's awesome.
With fresh food. So that's one cool thing that I think is unique about our program is that everyone gets like a fresh ham or a fresh turkey, something fresh to cook for the holidays, fresh produce and food, and then of course canned things and shelf stable items. And on top of that, we create custom gifts for the ages and genders of their kids. So and I think it's really cool. It's the one time each year that as the town council, this is our big philanthropic push to make a little magic around the holidays for folks that might have not as much as the rest of us. So it's a great way to give back. And
this year is one of those particular years that I think it's really, really, really needed. There's a lot of people out there that are struggling right now. And I just really give you guys praise for putting this together and helping these families locally that are struggling right now. Thank you so much, Corey. And I love hearing the history of the tree. I never knew exactly where it started or, how it came about. And it's really interesting to hear. And I want to just give a good shout out to James Gang, who's been a longtime member of the community, their business, and the family that's involved with that, and say thank you so much for being such a huge part of getting OB Town Council up and running and going, and all these fun events that we've been, experiencing over the years. I've been here in OB for just over 22 years, somewhere around there, and really got involved in the community in the last probably directly into the community in probably the last 7 or 8 years. So I enjoyed many, many years of not knowing where this was all coming from, but just loving the fact that it was happening in our community. And so glad to be a member, and just want to give a big thanks to all those the OGs in OB that made all this happen and continue to carry on this tradition. And thanks to you, Corey, for being a big part of this and keeping the tradition going and changing things and making things happen for OB Town Councils.